I believe this quote is from Erda, but I'm
Perfect.
not sure.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Okay.
So here she says, your world is focused on fear and is bent on destruction of that which is not understood. And you understand so very little. It is foreign. If it's foreign, it must be bad. If it's bad, it is out to get you and it must be destroyed. That is your first and only response, destroy. And so it goes on and on. You seem to be bent on repeating the same history over and over again, even though it continually proves out that it doesn't work. Hate never works. War never works. Division never works. Those lessons for history are somehow overlooked. But alas, it is not entirely your fault. It has been wired into your genetics and sold to you as a bill of goods for hundreds of years now. It is in the vibrational realms that we work. Those are the realms of real creation. Adjustments are made there. Adjustments made there change the flow of what comes into the physical dimensions. There's not a moment in time that we are not actively seeking to balance that which you set in motion. So I loved it all, especially during this season of life. And I guess there's two aspects to that. The first aspect is just taking a step back from kind of being in the thick of the mess and realizing from a higher point that it's all fear-driven. So much of our interactions with one another and our decisions are based on fear. But then to counterbalance that, which I just got, that's the name of that chapter, is that the changes can be made at the vibrational level. And I understand that being an energy healer, but I would love for you to elaborate on that to the degree you can without giving too much away. But it just was a really powerful, I had to sit with that page for a couple of days to let it sink in.
Yeah. Well, you know how to pick them, Ann. I just, once again, that's another mic drop moment in the book. For me, it's, first, let's just be real about our history and what we're doing. We think we're so darn sophisticated and advanced because we have some fancy little technological gadgets, but I'm sorry, folks, we're just not. You look back through history and we keep repeating it. Only we do it in little fancier ways and we clothe it with other stuff. And maybe it's not hand-to-hand combat as much. We can just fire something and kill more people in one fell swoop as opposed to manually. But it doesn't make us more advanced, and to me, it's incredibly sad to look back at our history and see that it's over and over and over again, that particular lesson. And I don't believe that is our true nature. I think that's a distortion of our true nature. I think if people were just left to their own devices, their own internal orientation, that we would have peace, we'd have love, and we'd have understanding. And but why we're not, that's a whole other question. That's a whole other area where of study, of research and study about what is really going on in our world. Because there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and my next book is going to start going after and bringing that, some of that to light. Because it is a whole other story where we have been lied to about, our history has been guided, not just by humankind, it's been manipulated. And also a lot of the beauty of it has been hidden from us, and so a lot of that is what I want to just bring to the surface and in a way that people can digest it and and try to, if they've got questions, they can research and try to figure out the answers for themselves. But I think really importantly is that the real changes happen in that invisible range. When we try to move we had a mentor of ours at one time, Anna, didn't we, that says something about, moving the furniture around on the deck of the Titanic. What is that going to get you? The ship's going down, and this whole us versus them, Republican, Democrat, the political things, just all the different schisms that we're being, fed, that nothing's ever going to resolve. We're just going to stay in the fighting each other range. And we have to get out of that. And I talk a lot in the book about the third point of choice. We usually think it's like fight or flight, and it's all right down here. I think that's what Erda represents, and everything is there's just another point, and we need to go to that point. And it's a point, a higher point, and it's a point, that comes from the invisible realms. And it's not going to be by moving the pieces around in this world that things are going to resolve. It's going to be about each person taking responsibility for who they are and raising their vibration, and coming to their own personal enlightenment and growth. And that changes the ball game. That's the place of potency for humankind and change. The rest then, will find its way, will work its way out. But that's, I think, the real battle for me is in those ranges. My own personal battles have been fought inside me. They haven't been fought outside. All those are just a reflection of whatever dis-ease was in me. So that's that to me is a huge passage, and it really sets up I left it to be kind of cryptic a little bit to set up what's going to be coming, in the next, few books, because it's definitely going to be, the Annie's going to be up. They're much more complex books. There's a lot more going on, and, and it's all around that. It's absolutely all around that, So.
A lot more going on. I can't even imagine. There's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on. But it lays out all the fundamental principles, I feel, are laid out, in book one. And then just that it kind of blossoms up and out from there,
I do.